way, as he said, from Toronto, Canada. He is from Stardust Pictures Studios. He's producer Justin Levine. Justin, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. And thanks to James for hooking us up. So that's great, James. James
Absolutely.
Pratt.
James Pratt, big shout
James
out.
Pratt
James
in
Pratt.
Australia, down under. I won't do
He's
accents.
he's no, but listen, he's a great guy. I got to have him
Yeah.
back on here, by the way. It's been a while. We haven't spoken in online anyway in a while. So,
Actually, James actually the best. Literally, James got us our first deadline article and our second deadline article, and he's really trying hard. He did the intro for us when we went to theaters in Sydney. He just happened to be there doing a commercial for Qantas, and I said, "Yo, go introduce the film." And like they filmed them live. It was great just to see it like through his camera in Sydney. I was wasn't there, but good enough.
he's just a real giving guy, man. A very
Yeah.
supportive guy. I'm always trying to figure out ways I could support him back. He's a cool dude.
I,
Well, listen, let's tell the audience a little bit
yeah.
about yourself, a little bit of your background, what you're up to.
So I mean, basically, I got a studio out in a rural town in Canada, which is 10 minutes from the U.S. border, funny enough. And I always wanted to own a film studio, and this was available. And bought it off of a big telecommunication company in Canada called Bell Canada. So bought it off of them, and renovated. And Harlan and I, had a dream to do this movie years and years ago, and it almost came true a couple years before we shot. But I was on a boat in Italy, and we were supposed to make the movie. He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Italy." He's like, "So you're not gonna make the movie this summer?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm on a boat in Italy." Would you? And it was funny, sad, but funny for him, and funny for me. But yeah, so we came together and did this, and I have a lot of friends, and I wanted to make this a friend effort, and how my bad buddies, part of the movie. I want to know, and actually, Harlan just did Rogan. We had 1.25 million views. It was great. He just did Adam Carolla a few days ago. Very funny. He made fun of me, but that's okay. He's allowed. He's the comic, and he's like, producers think they do everything. I'm like, yeah. And in this case, I did. But yeah, so basically, I had my studio company, and we've done a bunch of movies. My friend David Lipper and I, who David is an EP on this, for Latigo, we just did a movie called Neglected with Josh Trammell and Dylan Sprouse. We did a big party for Tiff Ford in Toronto last September, and it just got released in American theaters, and it was a big enough film that it was a lot of fun to do, and I was EP on that one for David. And so David ended up directing and making the movie, which is great. And then I said to return, I said, "David, let's do Wingman." I said, "I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll go raise the rest." We have Canadian tax credits, of course. We had a grant here also, and that helped. And it actually brought our budget to like close to $2.5 million, which is decent. And it looks a lot bigger. And David helped, raise some also. And we did it right down to the wire, literally the day before. Harlan was already living there for about a month before in pre-production, really hands-on, doing everything. I'm like, I'll fly in the day of. And literally, I flew in for the first scene, and which was the last scene of the film, but I flew in that day, and it was cold still in Canada here. But I'm like, I'll just kind of nonchalantly show up on set, and I did.
That's
People are like,
excellent.
people are like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm just gonna watch."
David's a great guy, man. I think he's an excellent producer. He's just
Yeah.
always active. David Lipper, he was also, I had him on as a
Oh, right.
live
You told
guest
me that.
here.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you told me that. Yeah. So, I definitely want to give props to David. And before I forget, I'm going to list my cast. So, Harlan and I go back, way back, like 17 years. We did a movie called Child Wild together. It's almost kind of like To Be Today. We were way ahead of our time. It was a sketch comedy, and Harlan played these wacky characters. And I actually got him really badly. I burnt him for fun. This is a whole other story. And in LA at his home, we're always playing gags on each other. So I got him. But we became friends, and I told him about Wingman, and I said, "Let's just make this sucker." It took forever. People get busy. It's Hollywood. Jamie Kennedy and I have been friends for 20 years almost. I first toured him across Canada with a guy. Stu Stone introduced us, and Jamie was doing rap music, believe it or not. And he said, "Do you want to take me on tour for my comedy called Heckler?" And I said, "Okay." And I ended up doing the Canadian distribution rights for it, and we became friends. And it was very funny. Our very first call, Jamie called me, and Jamie's from Philly, of course. Jamie called me about 4 a.m. my time, but 1 a.m. LA time. And back then we had answering machines. I'm aging myself. We had answering machines. And Jamie's like, I can hear it on my machine the next morning. "Wake up, it's Jamie and Stu." And it's 4 in the morning. "He's awake." "No, he's not awake." "He's awake." "No, he's not." "Yes, he is. You an idiot. It's 1 in the morning. This went on for 5 minutes. How it's 1 in the morning? He's awake at 1 in the morning. And I would call the next day, "Dum Dum, it's 4 a.m." But that was good because that became friends.
I,
And
I miss answering machines. I really miss them.
yeah. And I took him on tour, and I had to convince the record labels. I had a record label at the time. I convinced the record labels that he was a rapper. They thought it was a joke because I walked in with cameras to Sony, EMI, Universal, literally walked in pitching his album as reality. And we sang and opened up for Vanilla Ice in Calgary. True story. He was booed at first and then they cheered. He was very on top with some of the mask and his X show. And we were friends and it was fun. And we did a tour from Calgary to Edmonton. And none of the record labels believed me. They all said, "Get out. What are you doing with comics?" I said, "I'm not kidding." No one believed me. And he actually got his own record deal, I think, with Warner in America. He's like, the hell
That's
with you
great.
people in Canada. But anyway, so this came to life. My friend Shiva Nagar is an actress for a long time. And I wanted my friend Shiva part of it. And I introduced her to Harlan. And they had a great casting session. And she was chosen for an amazing role, hilarious. And then we actually ended up casting through Carly Gronowski's casting agency. And Carly, I think I met her at a tip party. I mean, you meet everyone at tip parties. And years ago, kept in touch. I'm like, yo, Carly, cast this for us. So we did it. She brought on Marsh, who was amazing as our lead. He was just hilarious. And Kayla Wallace on Landman. And this is before she got the TV series. So good for her. Happy for her. And Harlan chose them. At the end of the day, we had all these like 30, 40 casts. It was fun to watch the process, knowing it was my movie, kind of my baby with Harlan. And I let him pick. I said, "You pick away. It's fine." And I said, "You're the one that has to direct him and tell him what to do. You do it." So it ended up being great. He ended up casting a Tom Cruise line. It was funny. Daniel Karp, great actor from Toronto. And there was many people doing it, but he just kind of fit the part. So great guy, and he deserved it. Hilarious. And Lola was Lipper's friend. And she ended up being an EP, and she loved the movie and loved Harlan, and she did a great role. It was her very first acting role. So good on you, Lola. It was great. And just all the cast was great. And then the crew, my old friend Lux, who's a DP out of Vancouver, and I'm like, I'm not doing this without my friend Lux. So we made sure it all worked. His friend Feenstra, we did a movie together years ago. He was a key grip for Suits in Toronto for years. He's one of the best in Ontario. And, this is when there was a strike, actress strike. So we're on wingmanfilm.com. It's on Apple right now in America. It's on Amazon. It was distributed through Milan at Bounty Films in Australia and UK. It's live there right now. And we're actually in Europe in many countries. Canada, ironically, we aren't Canadian. We filmed it in Canada, but we'll be on last. But we're going theatrically in Canada, June 26th across Canada in theaters. I don't know which ones yet, but I'm guessing the typical Cineplex. Hopefully a nice run. We're doing drive-in theaters also. And then streaming, I think, early September, just in time for TIFF, which is fine. But Milan did me a nice favor for Australia, New Zealand, UK. Bounty Films did a great job promoting it. And James is his friend too. Who am I forgetting here? And yeah, so we've gotten a lot of funny requests, even though it just came out for Wingman 2. And my goal originally was like American Pie, American Pie, 1, 2, 3. My goal was Wingman, Wing Woman, Wing Wedding, Ring Reunion. That was my goal from day one. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen, but Harlan started writing Wingman 2 in the eyes of a girl. And he even said, I'll send it to you afterwards. He even sent me a sketch of the poster. Very funny, very stupid, very funny. So at the end, I think people need stupid comedy and funny back in the old days. And all the great movies were these dating slapstick comedies that were just made celebrities. Look at
I
all the Will
agree.
Ferrell movies. Look at Anchorman, where they were dirty and funny, and it worked perfectly.
It was great. When that came out, when Ackerman came out, I mean, we couldn't stop mimicking
Oh,
characters.
and
I
I
mean,
mean, that's the best of the best. Literally the best of the best. But
that kind of,
look at,
and just on, that kind of
yeah,
comedy to a degree, I think kind of, not that it started with, but especially like Reno 911, like a lot of that type of silly kind of snarky comedy. That's when it
yeah, I
started
know.
to,
And I love. I mean, my heroes of the '80s, like John Hughes and all those comedies, and even look. Funny enough, I don't know if Anthony is watching, but I told Anthony and Michael Hall to watch. We're buddies, and I met him through Jamie. Funny enough, in Toronto, but like, I'm an '80s fan. Like, I'll admit it, right?
yeah,
So I'm an
me
'80s,
too.
total '80s nutcase, and I love that stuff. Flamingo Kid, The Sure Thing. I can go on and on.
Justin, a great era, a
Yeah, it's the
positively
best. To
great
me,
era.
it's the best. But Wingman is more like a '90s dating comedy. Edgy. We don't care about anything, and none of the crew and cast cares. And it's funny, and who cares? It's supposed to be funny. At the
Comedy
end,
shouldn't have any borders. Comedy should never have borders.
no, exactly. And I'm not the writer. Harlan wrote it, and Harlan directed it, so essentially his vision. So it's okay. Um,
Justin, real
yep.
quick, anybody's joining us now, just a quick heads up. We are with the main man from Canada over here, from
I don't know about
Toronto,
that, but yeah.
producer Justin Levine of Stardust Pictures Studios. And
Yeah. So
we're working with Jamie Kennedy, we're working with Harland Williams, we're working with David Lipper. I mean, you got a solid crew, man.
yeah, and again, like our crew is so great because I was mentioning before, our crew is so great. It was just after the ACTRA and SAG. Actually, ACTRA was not on strike. SAG was on strike, and the writers were on strike, and the unions were on strike. So people just got back to work. So even when Russell Peters was Harlan's friend, came on board for the movie, basically as friends. Russell's too busy doing his touring around the world, but he was hilarious. And I'll tell you one scene that Russell was speaking, Indian in, and he's yelling in Indian, and one of the extras like, "I don't understand you." And he's like, "That's okay. 1.5 billion people do." Everyone cracked up, and Harlan's like, "Only speak in Indian, forget English," and everyone was laughing because it's true. So even when Russell came, we had the SAG strike. They're like, "Sorry, you can't bring him there. He's SAG," and like the Canadian agents like, "No, he's ours. He's Canadian." And I'm like, well, who gives a damn? Hop in a plane. And that day of shooting, when Russell was scheduled to shoot, we had to put him on a plane. There was no flight because his managers in LA were insisting SAG won't let him go on the plane because of the strike. We're like, screw all that. Just make this thing happen. And he's Harlan's friend, and he wanted to make sure he did the movie for us. And
That's
he
really
was a
cool.
key role. So, and we picked him up, and I said, thanks for coming, and that was it. And Jamie was great because we ran short on time because it was a tight shoot. It was only 15 days, the whole movie, with 27 locations, shot in a small town, which allowed us to kind of, there's no traffic, allowed us to get the location in 6 minutes. And plus, I own the studio, so we built our sets. We built the office, we built the bedroom, we built the hospital scene, we built a bunch of funny sets in the studio, living room scenes, and art gallery scene. I have a building, who cares? But on that time period, we were out of space for filming a pivotal scene with Jamie and Harlan that was so funny. We're like, Jamie, you kind of come back, but his contract was done. He was going off the stage, but ironically, he had a gig just 5 hours away from the border from America and Canada, which we're right on. He goes, I'm coming back for you because we're friends. And he just did it, because he loved it. And so, I would like to shoot another movie with Jamie in the studio. That we're already talking about one of his films, so we'll see. And then Lipper is trying to bring a TV series to the studio for next spring, and he's very close, and it's up to David.
Well, what's the environment like? I mean, I don't know if you know the temperature out in LA, or I mean, does it look like there's more productions being picked up? Does it look like there's a lot more series that people are selling? Like, is there
So look,
movement now?
I know, like, I even have a pending deal for microdramas in the studio with the world's biggest content provider. My goal was to do 30 of them this year, but it's been tough to get it going. It's very script dependent. I think good for that industry for creating jobs, letting actors get jobs who necessarily wouldn't get jobs. Even my DP and I, Lux, we own a casting site called castcaller.com. And not to plug you, but have like 100,000 members on there. Like, we want to give people jobs because it's hard. So I think the microdramas are great. I don't think it's going to replace film in LA or Canada or China. It came from China. I just think it's another way to swipe your phone. It's the biggest in the world now, so everyone's trying to get in on it. That's fine. I was trying to get in on it as basically the Canadian sole producer for this particular distributor. We'll see if it happens or not. I don't know. But I think the environment is good. The people say this AI stuff. I don't know. I don't buy it. Whatever happens, people want to see their favorite actors and people want to see new actors. And I know all the talk about the new movies in LA for the young kid who made a fortune. Like, sure, it happens once in a blue moon. Sold in Toronto for $15 million at Film Fest. That's like saying Wingman is the next Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know. I would never go into it and put money into it thinking I'm going to have that hit like they did. But people always say that. I've got the next, American Pie, I've got the next Napoleon Dynamite, and I've got the next Saw. My answer is no, you don't. But it's good thinking, but no, you don't.
It's just a
Because,
unique thing, you get lightning in a bottle. But again, it's the abnormal. That's not
but
the normal
I
way
tell you
things
one
happen.
thing, like sales from what I heard from Cannes are looking for rom-coms. So comedy was out for a long time. Things turned. So we're back. So our timing Wingman might be pretty damn good. I mean, look at Toronto, like, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey, Eugene Levy, John Candy. It's all Toronto,
Yeah.
and so many more super megastars are Toronto. So I think we're a funny place. And Harland's Toronto, Russell's Toronto. There's two more big funny names.
SCTV, who could forget
SE,
it?
100%. Props to my friend Michael Gelbart, who's on tour now in Alaska from here too. But look, I think comedy is coming back. I think there's demand for rom-coms, and there's very few out there. I think we're edgy enough to stick out, and I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. If the word can kind of organically spread, which it has been, I don't know. But I think we're good timing to do more comedies. My favorite genre is comedies, so I only
Me
want to do
too.
comedies.
Quick question for you, because I like to ask a lot of my
Yeah, I'll
guests the
shut
same
up now.
question. Larry Namer, who I interviewed, who was, for those that don't know who he is, he was one of the two founders of E Entertainment Network. But Larry Namer is very big enthusiast of microdramas. I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. You and I are on the same page. We're 80s guys. I want to like him. I want to be interested. But then I have a hard time figuring out if it's just a flash in the pan. Should I get myself invested? Because I'm an independent filmmaker. Do I go all in on something like this? I don't
Well,
know. What do
here's
you
my
think?
advice. I've got a buddy, Josh Weber, who's Canadian out in LA right now, and he just did another movie. And I was at his premiere for Dog Patrol at Cuba. It was hilarious. So Josh and I are trying to do this together with his writing partner, Christian. And look, it's been tough. I think that all these producers in LA who think they can just make these, micro dramas, like, where's your platform? That's the issue. Go ahead and do it yourself. Go, yeah, make it cheap. Make it for $2,000 or make it for $70,000. But where's your platform? So, like, the celebrities are starting to get deals. Kevin Hart has a deal. I think Kardashian has a deal for microdramas. It's nuts.
She
Sorry.
would. She always gets a deal.
I mean, who cares, right? But like, I get it. So like, some platform's going to pay a big celebrity big money to get their name out. I don't think it's actually going to work. Like, this stuff is not celebrity driven, and these actors aren't superstars. But here's the interesting part. My buddy Corbin Timbrick in LA is out there. Corbin is done like 55 for Drama Box as an actor. He's a great on-spot producer and director. But he told me there was the first vertical con in LA and an award show. I go, wow. It kind of like the first time. So my prediction is, now that the Oscars will go on YouTube 2029, my prediction is you're going to see a category for microdramas, micro something. That will happen. That is my prediction, that you're going to see that, and nobody's will become big stars. And that's going to happen regardless. So everyone is trying to jump in on it. But I don't think you should just make them because what's your platform? Hope that 40 million people will watch on YouTube. I don't know. So I'd rather.
Well, there's a question for you, Justin. What is the
Yeah.
platform for an independent filmmaker that wants to jump
Well,
in?
look, I mean, so I've been talking to Real Shorts. They're the biggest in the world. We have a deal together, but we haven't got the scripts yet, all set, but we're working on it. Drama Box, I think, is the second biggest. Amazon is nowhere near them, like nowhere near their reach. So I think the key is, if you're going to make it yourself and spend the money doing it, whether you're using, some AI, some actors, some this, some that, make it look good. It's supposed to be cheesy. I get it. They're very drama driven for the certain audience. Others are different driven, but I don't know. I think filmmakers should go for it, but it's going to be hard to get that audience to compete at the same token. But so is everything in life. So whatever. But I think you should look at it. I can tell you the average budgets are about 170,000 US to 220 US dollars, roughly. You hear them being made for 30 grand in China, 60 grand. You hear some for 300,000. I don't know what the celebrities' budgets are. Maybe they're higher. I don't know. Like, even Pauly Shore and I did a movie together years ago called Natural Born Komics with a K, with Charlie Murphy, and Vivica Fox is still my friend to this day. And it was hilarious, but it was cut up. It was meant for microdramas. So I've been pitching actually comedy microdramas, and it hasn't been done. Really, it's not out there. So I would like that, if that was my little dream, to do that. Yo, Carly. So Carly was our casting director. She's the greatest.
Hi, Carly. How you doing out there?
And she's
But
Canadian.
another beautiful Canadian. Guys, if you're not following any of my audience, please make sure that you are immediately following my friend Justin Levine right here. He is a producer. He's got a great production called Wingman with Jamie Kennedy, with Harland Williams, David Lipper, a full bunch of other great cast and crew members. And Justin, you know your stuff, man. I love what you're talking about, because I agree with you. With comedy, I said the same thing. Microdrama comedy, I think, would be
I mean, I would like to do that, and I would like to become a platform for that. I'm actually trying to do the first vertical con in Toronto. That you might see too. If you see it, it might be me.
It will be you.
Well, I don't know, but it's gonna take some work, but we'll see. But yeah, I would do that. But my goal is just more feature films, more comedies, And even more comedy TV series is already my goal too. We'll
How's
see.
the
It's fun.
market now? Let's talk business. How's the market? Well, of course you have great names attached, but are people buying?
Look, I think LA is LA and it's never changed. Like the old saying, who's in it? What genre? How much? Goodbye. So if you have Keanu next to you, you got to assume it's big budget. So then you got to, what's the difference? And then we'll give you the money. Whatever. With Wingman, I was prepared to do it myself, so I put in a big chunk of money myself. I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna make my movie. I don't want to look back and say I didn't do it. And Harlan's my friend, and I didn't want to use my friends. And I'm like, we'll find the rest of the money. Good old Canadian government with our tax credits, kind of the rest of it. And it was tough finding distribution because we're independent film. It was tough, but Film Hub did a great job. Picked us up for America for aggregate and all the streaming, and we'll be on Roku and Tubi in US in July, I think early July. So look, that could be a lot of viewers. I mean, they have what, 70 million viewers, 100 million viewers to combine those two. I have no idea how it even works with the advertising and the commercials. And I don't know if I joke with my friends, they're like, what are you gonna make? I said, I don't know if I'll make enough money for the gas for the Ferrari or buy another Ferrari. I don't know. Who cares?
Daniel Karp says distribution is the hardest part, but Justin's the GOAT. You are the GOAT, Justin. They said you're the GOAT out there.
Yeah. Well, look, I wanted to also mention Shiva and Lola and Dylan Flashner, who came on board as an exec and did a great acting role. He was hilarious as Skip. Who am I missing here? But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And truly our goal, Pino, thanks to Pino, Post Cities down in Toronto. He did the post-production for us. It was great. Big, serious studio. Actually, his studio is the old Second City TV studio.
No kidding.
Yep.
Is Pino Italian? That's an Italian name, Pino.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's on there or not. And
so his real name is Giuseppe, because Giuseppe, Pino is derived from Giuseppe. It's a little fun fact.
That's funny. But yeah, look, Toronto Film Festival, September. It's always the second biggest in the world next to Cannes. And it's more about the festival showing these, big movies than the sales, I think, so much. Where Cannes was all about the sales, where Berlin is, where Hong Kong is, and Film Art. So I think it's back. I think our timing's perfect for comedy. And my goal is to do another one, and I hope we do another one in spring.
I want to tell you, from all the people I interview, it's unanimous. Independent film is where it's at. People are energized. They're loving it. And I think we're going to see more and more people just going out and putting together creative stuff. It's never been easier.
No.
I mean, it's still hard. Don't get me wrong.
It's hard. You know what it is? It's not so hard. Even look, it's always hard to make a movie, but I like the Kevin Smith line. How'd you make a movie? I put in my credit cards. Now, it's crazy to do that, but good for him. He was crazy and talented. It worked, right? So I think if you're talented enough, just go for it. Somehow just find money with your buddies and just do it. And you look back if you're young, and who cares?
You're right. And I think it's the way you look at it, too. If you go for mentality, I think some people overthink it, right? And they're like, how am I going to raise all this money? You do an independent film, you try to raise 50, 100 grand. You might need a little favors, a little deferred payment.
It's tough. I mean, there's obviously there's lawyers and clearances and title searches and the whack of stuff you have to do. People don't necessarily think of insurance. It was like $22,000 alone for production insurance. Like, things add up. Food adds up. Accommodations add up. Little things you don't really think about will add up to a lot of money, more than most people would want to know. But you can tweak things, this and that. And the funny thing about Hollywood is I've always had a backwards approach. Everyone's like, I need $5 million. I'm like, so do I. Your private jet. I'm like, what's your point? Right? So I'm like, the reality is, what's it worth in sales? So if you have no celebrities and this and that, and this is your thing, it's kind of hard to get the money. No one's going to invest in you. It's hard. Now, if you have, Academy Award-winning actor or this and that, or the new it person, a little easier to find the money. But at the end of the day, I don't like to say, I need this. Well, so what? It means nothing. What are your sales estimates? And take that in half, because everyone lies. And, they're all taking a cut. Yeah. So there's ask and take with your sales from Germany to Australia to, France, to Canada for that matter. Always go a little under than what they're saying, because it's hard. It's very hard. And you have to really read the fine print with the distribution deals. Yeah, that's 1,000%. I've learned my lessons, and it's not fun. And you need, it's hard to do everything yourself as a producer. You need help. Post-producers, post-supervision is tough. The edit process takes a long time. Frederick Wyman, one of the best sound guys out there, he wrote our score and licensed it from him. He was amazing. Harland and him worked directly together every day in his studio. He's done like Star Trek. He's big. But he did our movie way back in the day called Boy Toy. So he wanted to do another comedy. So he did me A
And it's
huge
always
favorite.
great working with people that you've worked with before, you're familiar with. It's always good
Yeah,
to
at the end of the day, you know what? It's a comedy. I want to laugh. It's a comedy. And that's the whole point. And we knew we had it funny because the crew was laughing. As soon as the crew was laughing, we knew we had
Yeah.
something.
Yep. Then you know. I
Yeah,
listen.
then we knew.
We did short comedy, and we same thing. We had people. I was even. I mean, I was. We put this mob comedy was like Three Stooges meets The Godfather. We were all
Mm,
cracking up midway through it. So I guess that was a good sign.
that's actually funny.
Well, Justin, you've been great. Now I don't want to take up any more time, but you are
No,
fabulous.
thanks. It's
I
fun.
look forward to watching Wingman. Everybody out there, make sure you are following Justin. Make sure you watch Wingman. Again, where else could they find you, Justin?
But yeah, so the movie is wingmanfilm.com. It's on Apple and Amazon right now. You can download it. Hope you like it. If you don't, well, at least you paid the $10. But if you like it, great. Tell someone else.
And make sure you leave reviews. I keep telling all my people,
Okay.
leave reviews, and because it goes a long way, really. You know, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, wherever you find the ability to write the review, it's very important for these filmmakers.
Yeah, I agree. I like your background, by the way. What the hell is that? Comic books?
There are a bunch of these little postcards of movies that I glued together on a backdrop.
Wow, I like it. I
Yeah.
might use that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sunset Boulevard, right there, one of my favorite movies, and
Wow. You know what? I
Rocky's
might
around
do
there
that for
somewhere.
all 80s.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. You probably could find them, on
I
Amazon,
think
a
so.
whole
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
them. Yeah. All right, well, Justin, you've been great. Again, my guest has been the awesome Justin Levine. Make sure you
Thanks,
watch
Vinny.
Wingman, or else we're both coming after you. That's it.
That's
No
right.
question
Fine.
it.
Thanks, Finn.
You got it. We'll see you next time, guys.